Welcome to the 2025 First Robotics Competition Season Kickoff as we dive into REEFSCAPE, presented by Haas. I'm Blair from First, and we are thrilled you're joining us. Whether from your living room, your team meeting space, by the ocean, or poolside, or at one of the 141 local kickoffs taking place around the world. And you're in good company, as we have over 3,700 teams competing in this year's exciting challenge. This season, you'll be using your engineering skills to build robots to compete and strengthen a fragile underwater ecosystem. And it's all part of the ocean-themed season, First Dive, presented by Qualcomm. Qualcomm Incorporated is proud to partner with First to inspire students to make waves with your innovations and transform into confident leaders.
Hello First Robotics Competition teams, and welcome to REEFSCAPE, part of the First Dive season presented by Qualcomm. I'm Vanitha Kumar, Senior Vice President of Engineering at Qualcomm Technologies. The ocean is more than what you can see on the horizon. Beneath the surface lies our planet's most complex ecosystems. This season, you will use your teamwork and STEM skills to explore and strengthen those ecosystems. At Qualcomm, we are using the exact same skills every day to expand the horizon and push the boundaries of what is possible as we build intelligent, connected solutions. The skills you learn this season in First may seem like a tiny ripple, but you will help make waves in the future. So, let's dive in. Good luck, teams.
A big thanks to Qualcomm. We're proud to partner with them for the First Dive season and grateful for their nearly 20 years of continued support. We are excited to once again partner with the Gene Haas Foundation, the presenting sponsor of REEFSCAPE. Haas, a leader in CNC machining, understands that creativity, teamwork, and determination forge success. Shaping creations for land and sea, Haas recognizes the urgent global need for skilled manufacturing talent. Haas invests in participants like you, knowing the skills gained this season will powerfully prepare you for future STEM careers. A big thanks to Haas for their continued support. The First Robotics Competition is a spirited, fun celebration no matter where it's held, be it Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Virginia Beach, or Vancouver. At each team meeting and competition, be sure to embody gracious professionalism, the principle that sets First apart in the world of competitive robotics. We should all take pride in upholding the legacy that Woody Flowers established and strive to nurture it going forward. The journey you're on with First is unique, challenging, and inspiring. You'll work hard and compete even harder. As the journey continues, a remarkable thread connects you to all who have come before and who will follow. Every student watching today will become a First alum. This means that you were once a student on a First team, and now having completed high school, you take the skills you developed through First into the next exciting phases of your life. You will join a global network of hundreds of thousands of First alumni, individuals who have not only learned but also lived the values of gracious professionalism and cooperation. Values that shape how they approach their careers, their communities, and their everyday lives. You likely already know some of these incredible alumni. They may be your team mentors, guiding you and sharing their knowledge, or they may be the event volunteers tirelessly working to make this program possible. They are living proof of First's transformative power, carrying its lessons into everything they do. And soon, you will become part of this remarkable legacy. To help you make the most of it, check out the alumni page on the First website. It offers a wealth of resources and opportunities to help you stay connected and thrive within this amazing community. But don't just take my word for it. Let's hear from one of those First alumni. Baron is an award-winning co-founder of Deploy Tech, which created the world's first foldable concrete water tank as an affordable, sustainable, alternative water storage solution focusing on rural areas and disaster relief challenges. Here's Baron.
Hi, I'm Baran from Team 2905, the Sultans of Turkey. I was one of you 10 years ago, eager to dive into another challenging robotics season and anxious for the game reveal. Today, I'm leading my own technology company, making jigs and automating tasks, just like you are doing with your robots. We are making the world a better place, and finally, my autonomous spirit is working with high accuracy. To this day, in all my interviews, I always talk about one thing that truly shaped my journey: my time on the robotics team. Whether it was first Lego League or first robotics competition, those experiences laid the foundation for who I am today. I discovered my passion for problem solving through robotics. Fast forward to today, as we build Deploy Tech, I realized just how much of what I learned back then continues to guide me. Fundraising, finding sponsors, pitching our ideas, bootstrapping from scratch. These were skills first had instilled in me years ago. With Deploy, we create social and environmental impact by providing easy access to water for vulnerable communities or disaster zones. And it's not just the technical skills that stayed with me. The ability to adapt to last-minute changes, to pull all-nighters when necessary, to tackle challenges as they come, and most importantly, to embrace core values like teamwork, integrity, and perseverance. Those late nights, those intense moments of figuring things out with my team weren't just about building robots. They were preparing me for today. This season's water theme is very meaningful to me and my career. There are more than 3 billion people who lack access to water. That is 1/3 of the world's population. Together as a community, we have the tools to tackle this problem, and I encourage you to join me in seeking solutions. Good luck with the season ahead, and see you all on the other side.
Baron's innovative spirit, leadership, and achievements are a great example of what FIRST alums are capable of, and they really are making the world a better place. The highest award in FIRST robotics competition is the FIRST Impact Award, recognizing the team that best exemplifies a model for other teams and best embodies the mission of FIRST. Team 2486, the Coconuts, are the 2024 season winners, and recently, FIRST CEO Chris Moore visited them in Flagstaff, Arizona, and traveled to the Navajo Reservation to learn how such a small team can make such a big impact in their community.
Hello, Team Coconuts. I am so happy to be here with you in Flagstaff, Arizona today. You guys are amazing. You are the FIRST Impact Award winners. You are among thousands of teams from around the world and have been given an amazing award for your team's accomplishments and the inspiration that you provided. It's an honor to be here with you today. First of all, how does it feel to be the FIRST Impact Award winners?
It was surreal. It was like a dream. You know, for years we joked back and forth, wouldn't it be wonderful if we won this award, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, it was never about the award. It was about inspiring our community. It was about adding to the world.
When the Coconuts was announced, I saw the pure joy and emotion, your mentors and coaches crying. And I remember at one point reaching over to Dean and saying, well, are they going to come down? You were overtaken with emotion, and rightfully so. This is our highest award. You're a small team, you're scrappy, yet you are doing amazing things in your community and as a team, and that's what I'm impressed the most by.
I never had an Indigenous STEM role model who looked like me, who talked my language. It was really hard to see myself in the STEM field. But after joining the Coconuts and being part of FIRST since 3rd grade, it made me believe that I can be in STEM, that STEM is for Indigenous people. I started a STEM fair called the Denied People Are the Future STEM Fair. I created it for my family who lives on Loop, Arizona, 45 minutes away from Flagstaff. There's only a gas station, 2 schools, and an abundance of low-income houses. And now this STEM fair is continuing its impact beyond my time on the team. I would like for you to join us at the STEM fair.
As you just touched on, FIRST is about creating equitable access to STEM in communities. around not only the country, but around the world. How have you personally been affected by having won the award?
I was never a part of any extracurriculars before, and so when I joined this team, it was suddenly being around like-minded people and being a part of something bigger than just myself. And what it really feels like is just a big hug, and it's just joy, and it's fun, and it's changing the world.
Before joining the Coconuts, I never thought of myself as able to do anything with STEM. I thought that I wasn't the right person for it, and I thought it'd be too hard. After joining the team and winning the Impact Award at Worlds, I was able to see that not only can I do that myself, but I can help others. And I'm even showing that now by mentoring a first LEGO League team here in Flagstaff.
I've seen the Coconuts in our community ever since I was like 5 years old. Just seeing it has been really impactful to me, because once I've joined the Coconuts, knowing that I've impacted people indirectly and directly, it's just been a really great opportunity. And it's also given me the opportunity to pursue my passions. And I've actually created a children's book with Rihanna. And so being able to like spread STEM in a way that I'm passionate about has just been really great.
So before high school, I didn't have a community. I didn't have anybody. I was shy. I was introverted. And I stepped into Miss Sapio's classroom and she told me, hey, I think you'd be a really great fit here. And I found my second family, and they encouraged me and they supported me through my dreams. And they encouraged me to go to legislature and to talk to legislators in Washington, D.C. to create opportunities here at home for students. Without them, I don't know where I'd be. Without FIRST, I don't know who I would be.
The robot is the vehicle to get the student to join the team. It's the thing that takes place during their time on the team that really matters with the volunteering.
Everything I've heard here today validates why the Coconuts won the 2024 Impact Award. You talked about belonging. You talked about being part of a community. And when you think about it, that's why FIRST exists. We don't exist to teach students like yourselves how to build robots. Yeah, that's part of it. But FIRST exists to inspire you and to prepare you for life. And that's exactly what you're doing, and that's exactly what FIRST has done for the past 35 years. I am so inspired by you. Thank you so much for having me here today. Now, I know that we're going to be going to the STEM fair. You mentioned that earlier. Are you ready to go nuts? Yeah! All right, let's go. The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, all through the town.
This hardworking team's passion, camaraderie, and commitment to making a difference propelled them to the top this past season. It's no surprise the Coconuts earned such well-deserved recognition. Good luck on your team's quest to win the prestigious FIRST Impact Award this season. Okay, we're nearly ready to unveil this year's challenge, but first, let's have a little fun. Dean Kamen, the founder of FIRST, recently visited another renowned engineer who was presented with a Founders Award at the 2024 championship. This award recipient's mission aligns closely with FIRST, and he has been instrumental in helping to amplify the FIRST message. Let's check in with Dean and Mark Rober at Crunch Labs in the San Francisco Bay Area before unveiling the REEFSCAPE Challenge.
Is this Crunch Labs?
Hello, Dean, and welcome to Crunch Labs. Look at this. It's the Founders Award on prominent display, keeping time like a charm, down to the minute, by the way. It's been an honor to host it this whole time in Crunch Labs.
I see I brought you a beautiful timepiece. I didn't think you were going to put it in a time warp. I'm hoping something magical is going to happen here, and you're going to show me Crunch Labs isn't quite this shabby little place.
If it's magic you want, Dean, it's magic we deliver here.
Wow, it is magic.
Welcome to Crunch Labs. Let's go. I think you'll appreciate this. The infinite slinky machine. How many patents do you have?
I and my company have about 7,000.
Yeah, I've got like 2. It's a bit of a show off. Here's the world's largest Nerf gun. We also did the world's smallest Nerf gun. We actually don't have the camera set up, so you just have to rely on your own abilities.
Not a problem.
Wow.
F equals MA, what's the big deal?
Who is this guy? This here's my buddy Rocky. Rocky is really good at one thing and only one thing, and that's playing rock, paper, scissors.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, scissors meets paper.
You put a context around technology. It not only demystifies it, it gives kids a reason to understand the power of it.
This is an example of what we call hide the vegetables, right? Where it's like you build something that's really interesting, like a robot that never loses rock, paper, scissors, and then we teach the engineering principles behind how it actually works. That's why we created Hack Pack. So basically a robot that comes to your porch every month, you put it together, but it's powered by a microcontroller. So out of the box it'll work with no programming, but you can swap out the brain to level it up to do really cool things.
The kids that are playing in the FIRST community are dealing with almost identical situations. Exciting technologies with some open-ended opportunities to learn and fail, then learn a little more, then fail a little less until finally they get the gratification of saying, I not only built it, I understand what I have and I'm proud of what I know.
Well, I'm certainly intrigued. I think our missions are totally aligned. You know, we're both providing tools for kids and the future leaders of the world to think like engineers. And speaking of tools, I want to show you my workbench.
I'd love to see it.
This is my actual original workbench. It was in my backyard and just goes to show, I mean, these aren't fancy tools. This is what I started all the builds with. We got all these buttons from the World Championship. It's a good sound. 10 million subscribers on YouTube.
Wow, beautiful.
The diamond play button. We're on our way to 100 million.
Beautiful.
Glitter from the glitter bomb and the fart spray from the glitter bomb. You wanna try it?
Is this sulfur?
It's worse. I'm so sorry, but that's why you don't steal packages, folks.
Oh.
Ew, I smell it!
And of course here we have the mega turret.
You brought this to our championship last year in Houston. You stole the show. It was fantastic.
This is true. The theme this year, of course, is water.
Yes, it is.
And Dean, you've done some projects with water, right?
Water is critical to health around the world. It's critical to a lot of the projects I do.
And I did Team C's with Mr. Beast and a bunch of other creators where we raised $30 million, removed 30 million pounds of trash and plastic from the oceans. And speaking of water, we've got a big tank of water here, Dean.
And it's cold.
And I'm fully clothed.
If I can hit that target and I don't miss.
I know, Dean. I know.
At that moment, we will reveal this year's game. Are you ready?
Are you ever ready to be dunked fully clothed, Dean?
I'll take that as a yes.
Oh! Apparently sometimes you miss, Dean.
Not a chance.
It's not the suspense I want! Oh no! Oh, that was a close one. Oh! Woo! All right, Dean, you've only got one shot left.
That's all I need.
I propose if you miss this, we just skip it for this year.
Here we go. Wow!
Wow, that's cold. Why did I agree to this? Dean, 3,
2, 1, REEFSCAPE!
Welcome to the 2025 First Robotics Competition game, REEFSCAPE, presented by Haas. 2 alliances of 3 teams each compete to earn points by harvesting algae, seeding coral on their reef, and returning to their barge to ascend to the ocean's surface. Alliances earn additional rewards for meeting specific scoring thresholds and for cooperating with their opponents. Prior to the start of the match, teams can choose to hang a shallow cage or a deep cage on their barge. Robots start each match at their starting line and may be preloaded with 1 coral. During the first 15 seconds of the match, robots are autonomous and can be programmed to leave the starting line, remove algae from their reef, and place coral on their reef. If all enabled robots on an alliance leave the starting line and score at least 1 coral in auto, the Alliance earns the auto ranking point. During the following 2 minutes and 15 seconds of the match, drivers control their robot. Robots can place algae in their net and collect coral from human players at their coral station to place on their reef. Coral placed higher on the reef are worth more points. If an alliance can score enough coral on all 4 levels, they will earn an additional ranking point. Robots can also deliver algae to their processor. Once processed, the algae can be taken by the opposing human player and scored into the net. When 2 algae are delivered to each processor, both alliances earn a co-op point. The co-op point reduces the number of coral needed on the reef to earn the ranking point and influences a team's rank in the tournament. As time runs out, robots race back to their barge to hang on their cage and ascend to the ocean surface. Points are awarded to robots that can hang on a shallow cage, and even more points are awarded to robots that can hang on a deep cage. An alliance that scores enough barge points will earn the barge ranking point. The alliance that earns the most points overall wins the match.
Getting ready for showtime, for showtime.
Hi everyone, and welcome to REEFSCAPE presented by Haas. We are ready to dive into this year's game, and I can't wait to show you around the field a little bit. Before we begin, I want to thank some of our sponsors who help make FIRST happen every season. Thank you to Qualcomm for continuing to be our season sponsor across all FIRST programs. And thank you to the Gene Haas Foundation for once again sponsoring the FIRST robotics competition game. I also want to shout out a few of the companies that are strategic partners and provide significant in-kind support to FIRST. Thanks to Rockwell Automation for providing the automation equipment on the playing fields. And thanks to NI for donating the Robo Rio to all of our new teams. I want to recognize the more than 300 new teams who joined FIRST Robotics competition this year, including 30 teams who are returning from a year or more off. A huge thanks to NASA and the Argosy Foundation for funding grants aimed at helping make these new teams sustainable members of the FIRST community. And thank you to all of the donors, from the largest companies to small businesses and individual donors who support FIRST and FIRST teams every season with sponsorship and volunteers. We really couldn't do it without you. There's another group of people that we also couldn't do this without, the thousands of team mentors. FIRST programs have impact because of caring adult mentors and coaches working side by side with youth participants. The mentors on my team in high school had an immeasurable impact on my life. FIRST works because of you. You are what helped make FIRST more than robots. Thank you for all that you do and for the impact that you'll have over the next weeks and months. Let's talk about the kit of parts. The kit of parts is more than just what comes in the totes you'll soon receive. The second round of First Choice opens today, so make sure that you check that out. There are also vouchers available for your team to use to get donated parts and software. Check out the Kit of Parts webpage for more details on both of those. There's also a booklet in the season-specific box that has information on some of the items in the virtual kit. Safety is paramount when participating in FIRST programs. Coaches, if you've not yet taken the time to discuss youth safety as a team, please do that this week. There are resources on how to get started with that conversation on the Youth Protection webpage. And remember, the FIRST Code of Conduct applies to all FIRST activities, including online communication. The KitBot is back. If your team chose to receive the black tote and drive base, you'll just need a few other basic materials to build the KitBot. The goal is that this robot is a starting point for you, not an ending point. The robot can and should be modified and added onto to meet your team's strategy. And we have resources available to help you build the robot. Guided build videos, written instructions, and sample code are all available on the KitBot webpage.
There's even a guide to help you iterate on the KitBot. You saw a bit of the KitBot in the game animation. You can program this year's KitBot to leave the starting zone in autonomous and score coral on the reef. In teleoperated mode, the KitBot can retrieve coral from the coral station and score it on the reef. Remember, the KitBot is a starting point and is designed for you to iterate on to make it even better. We've made changes to the bumper rules. We think these changes will make bumpers easier to build and better protect the robots and the playing field. Be sure to pay extra attention to that section of the game manual. We've also made changes to alliance selection and how teams advance from regional events to the first championship. And we're piloting shorter regional events. More information on all the changes are in the First Robotics Competition blog. Up next, we've got a few members of the game design team who will talk about the field in a bit more detail. Then we'll release the code to decrypt the manual. After that, we'll run field tour videos to give you more information about how various aspects of the field function. Good luck to our more than 3,700 teams participating this season. I'll see you at the first championship in Houston. And now, over to Fiona and Liz for more about the field.
Thanks, Colin. I'm here at the Coral Station. There are 2 Coral stations per alliance. Human players deliver coral to their robots in both the teleoperated and autonomous periods. From there, robots can take the coral and score them on the reef. Fiona, tell us more about the reef.
Thanks, Liz. The reef is where all the action's gonna be. There's one for the Red Alliance and one for the Blue Alliance, and teams are gonna have to take those corals and orient them in different ways to score them on one of 4 levels. After that, teams will also have to remove the algae and then score them in another location. Liz, why don't you talk about that?
Thanks, Fiona. I'm here at the processor. Teams will attempt to score algae into the processor. Once each alliance scores 2 algae, they will achieve the cooperation bonus. From there, human players can take the algae and score them into the barge. Fiona, tell us more about the barge.
Sure thing. The barge spans the entire field. There's a blue half and a red half, and teams are gonna have to get the robots off the ground onto one of these cages. We've got the shallow cage here or the deep cage. And these swing around, so robots are gonna have to figure out the right geometry. Liz, let us know about the net.
Sure. On top of the barge is the net. Human players can score algae into the net, but so can the robots. Nice shot, Fiona.
Thanks, Liz. I think it's time to unlock the game manual.
I think so. Teams, have a great season. Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm Fiona. This video covers the Alliance area. This is the area behind the Alliance wall, and it's where 3 drive teams from each Alliance control their robots and play the game.
Each of the 3 driver stations has a shelf for the team's operator console. On the shelf is a strip of loop tape for teams to utilize. We highly recommend that all teams add hook tape to the bottom of their operator console to help prevent it from sliding off the shelf as robots hit the wall.
The first design fields used for most regional events, some districts, and at the first championship will have an upgrade this season. New shelf clips help ensure the shelf stays in place for the safety of teams and their operator consoles. Some fields are a different style and will not have or need the clips.
We wanted to make teams aware of these new clips and make sure their operator console fits on the shelf, engages with the hook tape, and aligns with all the requirements noted in the manual.
Every driver station is equipped with an Ethernet cable which connects your computer to the field management system. There's also an AC outlet with a 2-amp fuse in case your operator console needs power.
Also on the driver station is an E-stop and an A-stop. The E-stop button lets you disable your robot during a match. If the E-stop is pressed, your robot will be disabled for the rest of the match. When pressed, the button will stay in the down position and the amber light in the driver station will illuminate. The A-stop lets you disable your robot in auto, but not for the whole match like the E-stop. If the A-stop is pressed, your robot will remain disabled for the rest of auto, but will be re-enabled for the teleop. When the A-stop is pushed, the amber light in the driver station blinks.
Stack lights at the top of each driver station relay quick diagnostic information to teams and field crew. Check out the game manual for full details. Shout out to Rockwell Automation for donating the E-stops, A-stops, the stack lights, and for powering the station control cabinets.
Above each driver station is a team sign. The front of the team sign faces the field and displays your team number and the state of the field. Remember, you can only enter the field if deemed safe for humans, which will be indicated when the team signs are green and say safe.
The back of the team signs relay information during the match, including match time, score, and progress to the Coral ranking point.
And there's also a match timer in driver station 2. The back of the match timer shows a more detailed breakdown of progress towards the Coral ranking point by level.
There'll be a ramp available at most events for individuals with limited mobility. Teams can talk to the FTA at their event to inquire about it.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the competition.
Bonne chance et à bientôt en compétition. Hi, I'm Fiona.
And I'm Liz. This video covers the goal known as the reef.
There are 2 reefs on the field, one for the Red Alliance and one for the Blue Alliance. The reef is where robots can retrieve the algae and score coral while protected.
Coral can be scored on the reef from all 6 sides and at 4 distinct levels: Level 1, Level 2, Level 3, and Level 4. At several of the levels, coral will need to be placed in a unique orientation.
At level 1, or L1, robots place the coral in a trough-like structure. While coral orientation is not critical to score in L1, you may want to be mindful of placement to leave the most space for future game pieces to be added. All 6 sides of the reef share a single L1 trough that is continuous around the structure.
The height of the base is approximately 18 inches tall and is sloped towards the outside of the reef. Notice that when a coral is placed into L1, it rolls away from the center. If you want to maximize the number of game pieces in this level, you will likely need to place the next game piece higher and further away from your robot, or push the other one out of the way.
Coral can be scored on levels 2, 3, and 4 by placing them on these purple pipes called branches. Notice that coral scored at L2 and L3 are angled, and coral scored on L4 are vertical. At the tallest point, L2 and L3 are roughly 32 inches and 48 inches from the ground, respectively. L4 is approximately 72 inches off the ground. Be sure to look at the game manual for specifics on these dimensions. Teams should be aware that the tip of the branches are recessed at different dimensions from the base and should take this into account while designing their robot.
The reef has an April tag on its base structure attached to the front of L1. Teams will need to be intentional with camera placement to best utilize these April tags. See the field layout and markings diagram for exact dimensions and details.
To start the match, the reef will have 6 algae placed on the branches, with 1 on every face. See the game manual for exact details on how the field is reset between matches. Coral scored on the reef will not be counted if they are touching a robot or an algae at the end of the match. So make sure to clear the algae off the reef before scoring too close to them.
Both the quantity and location where the coral is scored on the reef will determine whether teams achieve the coral ranking point. Teams should familiarize themselves with the ranking point system in REEFSCAPE. Details on how to earn ranking points in the match can be found in our Alliance Station field tour video and in the manual.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the competition.
Mucha suerte y nos vemos en la competencia.
Hi, I'm Fiona.
And I'm Liz. This video covers the Coral Station, where robots retrieve coral from their human players.
There are 2 coral stations per alliance on the field. They are located on each side of the alliance wall.
On the field side, there's an opening that allows the human player to pass coral onto the field safely. Coral slides out from a chute that is sloped at a 35-degree angle from the floor. Coral exits the chute at a little over 3 feet off the ground and can end up in a robot or on the floor.
An alliance's human player gives coral to the robots by feeding them into the chute from this side. The chute has slots cut into it to help guide the coral while sliding down in this orientation. But there's also a top opening to allow coral to be entered in this orientation.
There's a step stool available at events for human players who want something to stand on when placing game pieces into the field.
Human players at the coral station should be aware of these kickstands and the coral holder when moving about the area. Each human player station will be staged with half of the coral and any unused preloads.
You may notice that there are no safe zones in front of the coral stations. Teams may want to consider the possibility of having an opponent robot defending them while trying to collect coral.
Robots can also use the April tag mounted on the field side of the coral station wall for field orientation and targeting. See the field layout and markings diagram for exact dimensions and details.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the competition.
祝大家好运，我们比赛见。
Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm Fiona. We're here to show you the barge. The barge is where alliances can score algae and robots can climb at the end of the match.
The barge is made out of truss and spans the center of the field. It includes 6 cages and 2 nets and has a red side and a blue side.
The cages are located approximately a quarter, a half, and 3/4 of the distance between the edge and the center of the field. Make sure to check the game manual for specific dimensions.
Before the match begins, teams are able to select if the cage associated with their driver's station will be a shallow cage or a deep cage. Teams must alert the field staff during field reset if they want the height of the cage adjusted, as the default is to leave them in the same state from the last match.
When climbing, teams should be aware that they can't touch the top of the cage, chain, or accompanying hardware. Pay close attention to the game manual on what a legal climb is.
Oh, good point. Climbing on the deep cage might not be as easy as it seems.
That's right. Teams should be mindful of the cage dynamics, especially when they swing as they design their robot to get their center of gravity and packaging right. It may be a little tricky.
These cages are a real challenge. Let's look at what happens when robots interact with them and how much they swing.
Good idea. First, let's look at the shallow cage. Shallow cages are approximately 2.5 feet off the ground and are intended to be a height where some robots can drive right underneath them if they choose. Teams will have to look closely at the exact dimensions if they want to design their robot to be able to fit underneath these.
If a robot does hit this as they are coming through, it will move around and swing, so teams should be prepared to handle this if they want to climb.
Now we'll show a deep cage. Deep cages are only a few inches off the ground and are attached to the barge with a chain. Robots are not going to be able to fit under this one.
If a robot hits this cage, it is going to move around much more than the shallow cage, though it may be worth the challenge. Deep cages are worth more points if your team can figure out how to get off the ground while using this cage.
The other thing teams should be aware of is that once a cage is hit and swinging around, they can continue moving for a while.
Teams should be careful as they navigate the barge to avoid damaging their robot or an alliance partner's robot.
From your own side of the field, robots should be able to see 2 April tags on the barge, one centered on your net and one on the opponent's. They're angled down to help make it easier for teams to see them. See the field layout and markings diagram for exact dimensions and details.
The barge also contains the nets, which is where the human players and robots can score algae. Each alliance has a net and earns additional points for the total number of algae scored throughout the match.
Robots can score algae directly into the net once they are acquired. Be sure to watch the Reef video for more details.
Human players can score algae if an opposing alliance's robot passes them an algae through the processor. Be sure to watch the processor video for more info.
Alliances will want to work together and use the processors because if each alliance uses it 2 times, both alliances achieve cooperation. The barge will light up to show progress towards an achievement of cooperation.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the competition.
Behat slacha venire echem bata charut. Hi, I'm Fiona.
And I'm Liz. We're here to show you the processor. The processor is where robots score algae and give that algae to the other alliance's human player.
The algae are bouncy, so teams may want to design to make sure the algae doesn't bounce out of the processor as they drive away. Robots can score algae by entering it into the opening of the processor on the field side. The opening is about 1.5 feet tall, a little over 2 feet wide, and is about 7 inches off the ground.
Teams should also be aware that the algae surface makes them a little sticky, so relying on using just your bumpers to push them may be more difficult than it appears.
If at least 2 algae are scored in each processor, the alliances achieve co-op. The progress towards co-op in a qualification match can be seen with the lights in the barge. Be sure to watch the barge video for details about the lights. Teams should also see the game manual for more details about how co-op affects the match scores and rankings.
Once an algae has passed through the counting sensors and is in the corral, the human players stationed behind the processor can attempt to score the algae into the barge. Nice. There are also some slots on top of the processor to store any algae for later use.
There is an April tag centered on the top of the processor to assist robots with field orientation and targeting. See the field layout and markings diagram for exact dimensions and details.
Lastly, while there are fences to separate the humans and the robots, human players in the processor area need to be aware of robots nearby. Always be sure to position yourself with safety in mind.
Good luck, and we'll see you at the competition.
Bol şanslar ve turnuvalarda görüşmek üzere.